People love Ben 10 for a lot of reasons: the cool concepts and powers, its incredible action scenes, maybe its emotional scenes from heartwarming to heartbreaking, but nobody talks about the questionable stuff. I'm trying to get into the weirdest Ben 10 episodes, and with a tier list from S meaning it was incredible to F meaning, well, you know, trash, we'll see which weird episode was the best, starting with
the three of us have never spent a Christmas all together.
You know what I love talking about on Black History Month? Christmas. Bro, I hate it here.
Guess that didn't go as planned, huh?
How did Gray Matter get anything wrong? That followed up with Grandpa Maxwell's pun. I can tell I'm not going to be a very happy boy watching this. Shout out to David, because this episode was definitely some weirdo stuff. From the leprechaun people to Ben and Gwen turned into leprechauns, and they got nutcrackers. Is that racist? Let me try to explain what happens in this episode, if that's even possible. The family finds some Christmas cliche in the middle of the desert, and it's got magical properties as well as time machine properties, so if they stay there long enough, they become magically delicious. The leprechauns think certified step-up Grandpa Maximum is Santa Claus, so he's kidnapped by this weirdo that needs to be saved. If you're confused, you're not the only one. My main takeaway from all this was the Naruto cameos in this episode. Yeah, like, this is the worst Ben 10 episode I've ever watched. I don't remember ever having watched it, so I like to think Kid Me just blocked it out of my mind due to trauma. No part of the episode brought joy to my heart. I'm thinking of Drake the whole time. It's just not a fun time. Unless you're thrilled by watching things like train wrecks or your parents' divorce, I say skip this one. Dude, they said the villain of this story has literally kidnapped kids.
Look at the kids you've kept away from their families all these Christmases.
And then they want to have his tombstone say what Grandpa Max said like 2 minutes beforehand, like that'll make any viewer smile. Like, if you don't piss on his burial, he look like Mallard anyways. Anger aside, I think this was a calm F tier. Fast forward real quick to the most loved section of Ben 10 Alien Force, Season 3. Yeah, this one is just weird off the Google images alone. Ben goes to another world to stop its war in straight up comical fashion.
And I've come all this way to tell you that war just isn't cool.
Like, bro thought this was the DARE program or something. That fails because the episode would have been S tier if it ended so quickly. I've got to give credit where it's due. They didn't make war look incredibly stupid, which I'm hoping was the writer's intention, and showed how people would try to benefit off war. I thought that was great. However, I don't think the episode was played as straight as it should have been. Both sides' reasoning, whether it was a metaphor or analogy or whatever form of figurative language, just makes it look goofy, dude. And I think this could have been an amazing episode that would have held weight for years to come, gotten several video essays, made me a ton of money. I mean, made some difference in the world. All they said was people go to war over nonsense, and the only way to form peace is to be forced into it by a stronger power, then uniting to fight against that higher power, which is pretty real life accurate. I'm gonna say B tier, even though the ending chode. I couldn't stand the fact that little Smurf constantly changing her view on Ben for no reason. It bothered me, and seeing her get Kevin's money, which he could have easily gotten on the ship, by the way, shortened my lifespan tremendously.
You can't be in two places at once.
In this episode, Ben uses the Shadow Clone Jutsu to get out of spending time with his girlfriend. Add on to that the fact that Air said this was the worst episode in Ultimate Alien. My hopes are high. It starts off with Wrath doing what Wrath do, but like, why Gwen start off hating, not letting Ben explain the Forever Knights deal? Benjamin's putting in pain. Over the course of the episode, the Masters just weren't treating Ben like a champion he is. Like, bro waves and winks at a couple people, now all of a sudden he's the problem. Makes me sick for real. Julie storms off on Ben, then the crowd, after blowing sack, had the nerve, the gall even, to go absolutely quiet for no reason. Hey, is he dead? The 3 Ben thing was absolutely brilliant until they picked which Ben did what. Now, if we get rid of the lackluster story, this episode is hilarious from start to finish. All the Julie stuff sucked. Like, she wanted us to care about her tennis game when Ben 10 is the star of the show. I didn't care for it at all. Sure, Ben is a person of questionable character, not to mention a terrible guy overall, but like, we knew that. She knew that. I truly have no idea what the point of this episode was. To make our protagonist look ridiculous? To make the Forever Knights forever worthless? I need answers. On a positive note, the episode didn't drag on and I felt minimal pain watching it, so I'm putting this in C tier. Still haven't finished Omniverse, but I made a compilation a while back and remember that for some reason there's this episode where he was on a game show with a bunch of chicks to see which one was for him, and I swear his aunt was here. So yeah, definitely weird. I hate myself because just like Rook, I want some pop popcorn for this, cause I know this episode gon' bang. The host steals Ben plus peeks into his brain bank without consent, so he's already a creep who deserves imprisonment. With all the abilities he's got though, I feel like he might be top 5 fighters in Ben 10 for real. Esther spends most of it trying to tell Ben something, presumably about their relationship, so naturally, he avoids it. Brother sucks for real.
I was talking to Ball Weevil.
Kai is so insufferable. At this point, I've spent 10 years of my life disliking her. Can somebody please tell me why they chose to make her a prevalent love interest in the show? Let me get positive real quick though. As a Johnny Test fan, I love the fact that the game show has a race to the finish. Back to being negative. Ben fought like garbage from beginning to end. Then all the girls are like, we can save ourselves. Y'all wasn't putting up no numbers, hiding behind them rocks. Now all of a sudden y'all want to get tough. It makes me sick. At the end of the episode, Esther reveals she got a boyfriend, and due to the writing team being a bunch of donuts, she knows she'll never get with Ben. Then Ben kisses Kai like right after, because somehow there's a banana peel on the ground. I've never seen that before. Whenever Bellwood isn't under attack or being invaded, it's the sanitation capital of the world, and you want me to believe a banana peel has been so perfectly placed 2 people could kiss after slipping? I never planned on talking about the reboot again until I was like desperately in need of views, but here we are. Since people believe I despise the reboot, even though I was super fair with the show, I'll be super duper positive. Well, we kick things off with the Weatherheads, who are like these robots that spend a lot of time trying to convince you they're emotionless, which is actually cool in my mind. A fun concept for a show not meant to be taken seriously. Their objective is to create a cosmic cyclone because, I don't know, they're evil or something. While they do that, Ben wrecks the Omnitrix because, like an annoying ex, it started tripping on him for no reason. Although the original did this first and way better, might I add, I believe stories can be repurposed or reimagined for other things. Ben makes Gwen time how long it'll take to beat the Weatherheads, and she is immediately on board. I will say it again and again, Ben and Gwen's relationship in the reboot is so much better than the original. Argue with your mother. This sibling pairing doesn't nonsensically become homies then beef whenever the plot demands. Now, although I said the watch getting messed up was fine, this is when details matter. Ben knocked off the cap of the Omnitrix in the classic version. He had to put it back on to repair it. In this one, he just inserts a screwdriver, so there's no real visual to show how badly the watch is messed up, besides the fact that it like goes up and down, but that doesn't even happen that often. Combined with the fact that Grandpa just has Galvin level intelligence at one point and knows the watch is rebooting itself, which visually isn't conveyed, and if you want to say it is, my retort is it's not done very well. Ben makes the Weatherheads play into their emotions, outsmarting them and saving the day in the process, with foreshadowing sprinkled afterwards to close everything out. This unironically was the best episode out of the ones I've watched. With its 11-minute runtime, it didn't overstay its welcome. The jokes were well written, even though some could be perceived as corny. The dialogue was stellar. Everything was done beyond competently. Like, I want to put it in S tier a little, so I'll do this. We're gonna spin a wheel between S and A tier. Whatever it lands on will be the definitive answer. This was very surprising for me. I did not expect the tier list to end up this way at all. Would you change anything? Do you remember some episodes weirder than these? Let me know in the comments and I'll see you in the next one. Jersey.